Stop what you're doing. Put the coffee down. Put the kombucha down. We need to talk about a legend that's been wandering in the wilderness for a decade. I'm talking about the best stuff on earth. I'm talking about the pop of that safety cap. I am talking about Snapple. For years, Snapple has been playing prevent defense with their brand. They went plastic, they went minimal with their visual direction, they went boring. They let brands like Liquid Death and Arizona walk all over their territory. But ladies and gentlemen, the 2026 Snapple rebrand is here, and it's aggressive. It's loud, it's nostalgic, but is all that glitters really gold? But before we get into it, I'm Ziggy the Designer. I'm a graphic designer who's worked alongside some of the world's biggest brands, including United Airlines, Target, and Stanford University. If you like what we're talking about on this channel, do me a favor and give this episode a like, leave a comment down below, and of course, hit that subscribe button. Let's get into it. Design is all around us, so let's talk about it. So who's behind the curtain for this rebrand? It's Deutsch LA. This team just performed a full-scale identity transplant for Snapple. First, let's look at the logo. They ditched that clean, modern sans serif-based logo that looked like it belonged on a tech startup. They went back to that classic script, right? It's got that 90s hand-drawn energy. It's quirky, it's slanted, it has personality. And here's where Deutsch LA makes their money, right? The visual language. We're talking maximalism, high contrast colors, thinking of vibrant pinks, electric blues, and forest greens. They've introduced these undesigned graphics. It doesn't look like it was made by a corporate committee in a boardroom, right? It looks like a collage on the label. According to Brand Archive, the color palette alone uses over 15 distinct hex codes to differentiate flavors. Compare that to the blandification of brands like Pringles or Johnson & Johnson. Snapple is doing the opposite. They aren't stripping down like these other brands, they're layering up. So why now? Why this look? Well, let's look at the stats. According to the Food Institute, Keurig Dr. Pepper is looking at a massive demographic shift. Get this, 72% of Gen Z says they are prone to trying new flavors monthly. Compare that to only 44% of the general population. Gen Z doesn't want a safe product. They want novelty. Snapple fell into the dead zone here. They weren't healthy enough for the gym goers, and they weren't cool enough for the TikTok generation. They were just there. By leaning into nostalgia, this nostalgic look, they're hitting two targets with one stone. They're grabbing the millennials who remember the 90s glory days of Wendy the Snapple lady, and they're hitting the Gen Z population's obsession with the 90s aesthetic. Industry experts like Riley Newman say this undesigned look makes the brand feel authentic. In a world of AI-generated perfection, Snapple is saying, we're messy, we're colorful, and we're real. They're even launching flavors like 250 party for the US 250th anniversary. They are fighting for relevance in a market where they currently only hold about a 9% share compared to titans like Coke and Pepsi. So what do I think? What do I think of this new look for Snapple? To be honest, I have mixed feelings on this one. Strategically speaking, this is a home run, right? If you want to capture attention, that maximalist, colorful, nostalgic approach is the one you take. This is a very fun approach here. On the other hand, and perhaps I'm just not a fan of maximalism, I think this just needed a little bit more love. For me, from a design standpoint, there's a lot of friendly fire going on here. The colors are great, right? But I have to ask, do they compete with the colors in the logo? Because as vibrant as the colors are in this new brand toolkit, the colors in the logo are just as vibrant. When I look at one of these new labels, it's not so much about fun maximalism. It's about, wow, these colors are really fighting for my attention. It doesn't feel as unified as it probably should be. Let's move on and look at this custom typeface designed by Connery Fagan, right? It is very well thought out. It's very fun. But the logo type, it's just so expressive and quirky. I can't help but question, are these two competing against each other? That lowercase g doesn't really do anything to help their case. Again, I think this is great work, don't get me wrong, but it feels like there was just some more fine-tuning, some more balancing that needed to be done that ultimately just didn't happen. Overall, though, still, right, this is an upgrade for the brand. At the end of the day, design is about more than just looking pretty on a shelf. It's about how a brand makes you feel when you crack that seal. Snapple is betting the house that you miss the 90s as much as they do. They've moved away from the corporate, sterile look and they've gone back to their roots. It's bold, it's dramatic, and honestly, it's about time. Whether it works, that's up to the numbers. But from a design standpoint, it's pretty much safe to say that Snapple is officially back. But how do you feel about the Snapple rebrand? Is it a nostalgic masterpiece or a cluttered mess? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And while you're there, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I've been Ziggy the Designer. If there are two things you need to know about me, it's that one, I love graphic design. And two, I'm very opinionated. I'll talk with y'all later. Bye-bye.